Y'all, I can't stop coughing. I don't know why, but what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling today? What's up, everybody? What's up, LB? What's up, beautiful? Nice to see everybody. I know it's kind of late at night. If you're watching it, replay crew, yes, we did this at midnight, basically. Let me I don't like how it doesn't show my background. Hold on, let me change that real quick. I want y'all to see my background. That's the whole point of having it, right? There we go. Okay, perfect. All right. I see everybody coming in now. I know it always takes a minute because the chat is usually the system is slower than what it usually is. So yeah, I know it takes a minute. But what's up, everybody? So Diddy is hitting Ariel Mitchell, the Lion lawyer, Courtney Fakes Burgess, and Newsnation because they've been lying on his name. Remember, there's this supposed to be this whole like 10 freak off tapes. Two of the tapes featured minors, and allegedly it was supposed to be Jaden Smith and Justin Bieber in these freak off tapes, and Diddy was doing stuff to them. Y'all remember? And then they went to the grand jury and all that shit and said, oh, yeah, we passed over the tapes and blah, blah, blah. None of that stuff came out in the indictment. All the stuff that they were talking about, none of that was in the indictment. Matter of fact, no other celebrities were mentioned in regards to freak-offs. Now, other celebrities were mentioned, but nothing to do with freak-offs or anything like that. So it was all a lie. And here's the thing. I think people thought whatever the Diddy accusations were going to be, that they never had to worry about him ever getting out of jail again. So it's kind of like, oh, who cares? You know, what does it matter? But the fact that Diddy did get out of jail, I mean, well, he's not out of jail yet, but he basically got off of 3 of the 5 charges. So more than likely he will get out of jail, you know, within like I'll say it'll be under 4 years. I think he'll do at least 4 years, but it's not going to be no lifetime sentence or anything like that, you know, or no 25 to life. What's up, Naughty? How you doing? Yeah, so as far as that, I'm like, they were under the impression that he was going to be in jail forever. And mind you, Ariel also has that lawsuit with, I believe her name is Ashley Parham, the one that took place out here in the Bay Area. Yeah, she's on that case as well, too. She's the lawyer representing Parham. So again, that was the lawsuit that had Drewski in it. Remember, it said like Drewski got oiled up and was jumping on her and stuff. Y'all, the lawsuit was crazy. I'm like, who writes this shit? And then it said like Jaguar right trafficked her from LA to Las Vegas or some shit like that. That was that whole lawsuit. Ariel is the lawyer on that one. So when I tell you Ariel is questionable, she's very questionable. Don't forget, she was also tied in a lawsuit with Chris Brown, and Chris Brown debunked that whole thing. So Ariel, just like Tony Busby, just like Tyrone Blackburn, they're ambulance chasers. They're looking for their moment of fame. They're looking for their moment of shine. They're not legit people. You know? What's up, Addicted? Yeah, these are all fake people. Now, I was wondering, now I was able to find one video from Newsnation because remember, Newsnation is the one that platformed them. He said it all on their platform. Mind you, I was just thinking about this, you guys. Remember Sean Atwood? Does anybody still watch his channel? Probably not. But Sean Atwood was the one who originally said like he had to delete all his videos about Diddy and blah, blah, blah. He never really gave an explanation. With this lawsuit, I'm thinking that Diddy's people was all like, hey, you better take this shit down or we gonna tie you in this lawsuit. And Sean Atwood was all like, all right, let me delete everything because I don't think his videos are still even up. I gotta look at that. Hold on, let me share this. Okay, so this is the one where and it's titled "Attorney Not Buying Diddy Court Witness Sex Tape Allegations." So let me switch this over so they don't strike me. All right, here we go. You ready?
New witness before the grand jury in the Sean Diddy Combs case. Courtney Burgess, former associate of Kim Porter, that's Diddy's ex-girlfriend, mother to 4 of his children, and unfortunately,
he was never associated. He was talking about he had a fake ass book that was not real. He was never associated.
the woman we've seen in the video. The allegation, he has seen, that's Cassie, not Kim Porter. Cassie's the one we saw in the video. It's hard to keep him straight, let's be honest. All right, so he has seen, which I think is the key word in this story, salacious videos of Diddy and celebrities engaged in sex acts, including with underage victims. He also alleges to have the unedited version of Kim Porter's diary. True? What's the chance? And if so, so what? We know many lawsuits have been filed against Combs alleging abuse. Many of them to this point have been anonymous. Now, there is a reason.
Did he say so what?
That true? What's the chance? And if so, so what? We know many lawsuits have been filed against Combs alleging.
Oh, I bet you anything, Diddy lawyers, they got a copy of that. You go like, true? If it is, so what? Oh, they got a copy of that. They got a copy of that one. I'm telling you, they got a copy of this right here. White Jamal, definitely, they need to add White Jamal onto this lawsuit too. I'm gonna help Diddy team find White Jamal.
Abuse. Many of them to this point have been anonymous. Now, there is a reason that people are often allowed to allege and be anonymous. However, a judge ruled that a woman who anonymously sued Combs this month for rape must reveal her name on her lawsuit or will be tossed out. The lawsuit alleges Combs raped her in 2004 at a party in a Manhattan hotel. She was 19, college student, also allegedly ordered her to perform oral sex, or else he would have them both killed, her and a friend. Otherwise, he would have them both killed. What does this mean for that lawsuit? What does it mean for other ones? All right, I want to bring in one of Combs' former lawyers, Mark Geragos, and a lawyer who represented dozens of victims in the Jeffrey Epstein case, Jennifer Freeman. Good to have you both. Counselor Freeman, welcome to the show. Mark Geragos, what's the smell test on Burgess? Seeing videos is different. You know, I was reading reports online that says he has the videos, very different, because if he has them, then he has to produce them. Seeing videos, what would trigger concern of strength in the case?
Well, the first thing is I watched, I believe it was a TMZ tape of this young man, and he was questioned as to whether he knows Sean. I believe he said yes for 30 years. They said, "You've met him?" And he says, "No, I've never met him." Then apparently he before said he had tapes. Then it turns out he's seen tapes, and then supposedly has a diary, but now apparently doesn't have a diary. You know what I think, and I find it interesting that you asked me if it was the smell test. I think
and remember, it was all like, oh yeah, it was a diary. Then it went to like a USB or some kind of file, and the story was convoluted. And remember, White Jamal, Chris Todd even said on my channel, it was Kimora Lee Simmons who had the book. And I'm surprised that Kimora Lee Simmons didn't try to send no cease and desist. I guess Kimora Lee was all like, oh, I know this is bullshit. I don't care.
Prosecutors think that he failed the smell test. I suspect that the prosecutors brought him in front of the grand jury to run it down, because I don't think anybody's buying what he's selling.
They should have done that before they brought him on then. Counselor Freeman, let's pivot to this other issue. Of course, you can comment on whatever you want, but the other issue is, what do you make of the judge saying that this plaintiff must say who she is or the suit gets tossed out?
This is very disappointing and disturbing for other sexual assault victims, including this one. It presents a Hobson's choice for her and other victims, meaning she can choose justice or she can choose.
By the way, I don't remember this case per se, the one that they're talking about. There's been so many that they all kind of just run into each other, so I don't know which one that they're talking about.
Privacy, but you can't have both.
It's
give me a little
interesting, Jennifer. Jennifer, do you have? Because I've had this situation. I've had clients who I give them the kind of that choice because, as I'm sure you advise them, hey, we can file anonymously, but I'm not sure it's going to play out that way. How do you advise a client on that? Because you've done this before.
I've done this many, many, many times. And frankly, it usually works out with an anonymity. Pseudonyms are typically granted, especially in New York, since there is a particular New York civil rights law, Section 50B, that provides for an anonymity and confidentiality for sexual assault victims. So it is something that doesn't seem to have.
I want to say this because I'm going to stop. They kind of stopped talking about Courtney. This really, the whole Diddy situation, it really got me jaded. And the reason why is because I started being all like, I don't like when people go and file these lawsuits and go anonymous. I'm all like, if you got something to say and if you want to prove your case, you need to tell who you are. Like, none of this, oh, I'm trying to be anonymous because of this and that. It just seemed like a lot of those people who are anonymous, one, I noticed that mostly they were all white. And then two, most of those cases got thrown out because they were all lies. So again, it's like a whole bunch of BS, but I digress. Now I want to go ahead and pull up the article here, talking about the actual lawsuit. Hold on a moment. Here we go, you guys. And then let me blow it up on my screen so we can see it. All right. So it's a Sean Diddy Combs doubles defamation damages, demands $100 million in fresh legal filing. Sean Diddy Combs is doubling down on his previously filed lawsuit against a man and his attorney, both of whom he says in an amended legal filing submitted this week made defamatory comments about the rap mogul's alleged involvement with sex parties attended by both celebrities and underage individuals. Combs has amended the complaint originally filed in New York federal court in January as he was awaiting his sex trafficking racketeering trial in the same venue to seek $100 million in damages from the plaintiffs, Courtney Burgess, attorney Ariel Mitchell, and Newsnation, parent company Nexstar. The suit points to an October interview with Burgess and a September interview with Mitchell, in which the two discuss alleged video footage Burgess states he possesses showing Combs allegedly sexually assaulting celebrities, some of whom appear underage. One interview saw Burgess present still images allegedly from the videos in which Justin Bieber was shown kissing an unidentified male. Now, I didn't see, did y'all see that? I didn't see that. Whoa. An amended complaint filed Monday, August 11th in New York's Southern District, Combs is now seeking no less than $100 million in damages for the severe reputational harm caused by Burgess' outlandish claims, which Combs' attorneys allege culminated in media frenzy against the mogul. With that part, it created the media frenzy. It did. Because put a 1 in the chat, you thought that you were gonna see hella celebrities on these FREAKOFF tapes. Put a 1 in the chat if you thought you were gonna see hella celebrities on these FREAKOFF tapes. Put it 2, you always knew it was a lie. All right, continue. The allegations aired on Newsnation over multiple interviews also included an assertion from Burgess that Combs' late ex-wife, Kim Porter, they were never married. I don't know why it says ex-wife, with whom he had 4 kids, gave him a copy of her memoir to him and tapes of alleged celebrity sexual assaults before she died in 2018. The interviews fueled the still ongoing frenzy of misinformation about the rap mogul that began following his September federal indictment, arrest, and ongoing incarceration at a Brooklyn federal lockup. Speculation about celebrity involvement in Combs' so-called freak-off parties continues to run wild as rumors swirl of who knows what and was present at the alleged events. At Combs' trial, the actual freak-off events were described as drug-fueled sexual encounters with his girlfriend and hired male sex workers, which Combs would film while masturbating and directing the actions of others. In this pitiful spectacle, all the pretense of objectivity has been abandoned as a global audience feast at the all-you-can-eat buffet of wild lies and conspiracy theories, the lawsuit states. Mitchell and Burgess are among the worst perpetrators in this offensive scenario. They eagerly court every opportunity to broadcast blatant falsehoods, pretending they have proof that Mr. Combs engaged in heinous acts, knowing that no such proof exists. Combs' team states. Burgess, who was subpoenaed by the federal prosecutors to testify in front of the grand jury considering additional charges against the rap mogul, was asked in Newsnation interview if the alleged image of Bieber is legit, to which he responded, yes, definitely. What? Oh, shoot. He said, yes, definitely. You know how black people tell a story. We got to add extra stank on it. That's why I was like, what? Yeah, they need to add Chris Todd. Put a 5 in the chat if they need to add Chris Todd, a.k.a. White Jamal, to the lawsuit. Put a 5 in the chat. He also said on Newsnation that of the 8 celebrities seen in the footage, 2 or 3 appeared to be minors, according to the earlier lawsuit. Now, I know that he said on Sean Atwood, that's when they were talking about the Jaden and Justin Bieber. They're saying that they were the minors on the videos. Newsnation is accused in the complaint of lending its credibility to and amplifying defendant Burgess and Mitchell's lies, giving them a mainstream media platform to malign Combs for defendants' collective profit. And, you know, they're actually a news station. So when I think about it, y'all, Ariel and, yeah, now that I think about it, Ariel and Courtney, the only like news publication that they went on was Newsnation. Now, TMZ interviewed them outside the courthouse, but as far as everything else, via YouTube. That's what everything else was, via YouTube. It was not like CNN or Fox News or anything like that. So that says a lot, you know? They done cut themselves up on some bullshit. A message sent to Mitchell by the Hollywood Reporter on Tuesday did not receive an immediate response. Nexstar Media Group Executive Vice President and Chief Communications Officer Gary Whitman declined to comment when reached by email on Tuesday. In September, Combs was arrested for sexual... Okay. We know that. Since the verdict was read last month, Combs' attorney have worked to have him released. Okay, we know they're trying to get him released from jail. Okay. All right. Okay, I think that was it. So, yeah, y'all. How do you feel? How do you feel about it? I mean, he has every right to sue him because, again, they were perpetuating lies. And granted, you know, I don't feel bad for Diddy. It is kind of like whatever he gets. Like, I really don't care. But these people literally went on a world tour going from platform to platform saying they had this and that. And remember, you can go back to my videos. I was saying that it was bullshit. I was like, I don't believe that he had these tapes. First of all, Courtney Burgess can't even put 2 words together to make a sentence. He struggles speaking. And then when you ask him questions, he's like, yeah, yeah, so, yeah, yeah. And we supposed to believe him? That's who y'all want to believe? All right. I'm just glad I wasn't invited to it. Right. That's really how I feel. Absolutely. Prior to the actual trial, it was a worldwide. Yeah. You know who said she hired the girls first? Jaguar Wright. Yeah, Jaguar Wright need to be in the lawsuit. Chris Todd. Who else need to be in the lawsuit? Who else should Diddy sue, y'all? And y'all can be messing in the chat. Who else should he sue? Because it's a few of them that he definitely should sue. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so Newsnation still has that video up, but I'm wondering if they have any more videos up, you guys. Hold on. Because now that I think about it, maybe they did take them down because they felt like, okay, Diddy court witness Courtney Burgess asked to return to the grand jury. Oh, nope. We got another one and another one. Okay. There we go. Oh, they got Ariel on here.
Boy,
Here we go.
this is becoming a frequent visit that you and I are having. So talk to me a little bit about Diddy's team's reaction, because man, did they went to town in those legal filings, and I could see like you and me talking throughout the filings. They didn't like it.
They were pretty pissed off, to say the least, very upset. And I would assume you'd be upset when you know the truth is coming out and the truth is continuing to come out, and somebody like Mr. Burgess is delivering that truth. Mr. Burgess actually told me that he believed that the purpose of that gag order letter that was written by Mark Agnifilo on November 3rd was because Diddy knew that it was Courtney who was bringing this information and said, well, he finally got me where he wants me. So
she's going on record saying like, yeah, he's delivering the truth. All right, Ariel. Mind you, they got a copy of this video, I bet you.
Truly believe that not only Mark Agnifilo, but also Sean Combs is very much so aware that the things that Courtney has talked about and said he witnessed, and the things that were on the flash drives, including the book, as well as the other videos, were definitely of real events and things that had happened. And that is the last thing that Mr. Combs would like out about him, is these factual allegations of things that he has done and that he knows he's done.
I should make note that the book is purported to be Kim Porter's manuscript turned into a book that apparently is on these flash drives. So big question, your client, Courtney Burgess, has been asked to come back on November 12th before the grand jury again. I know he told us it was not a good experience the first time. He felt like they were making him into a criminal. He said he just wanted to help the victims. Why does he have to go back?
Because he was lying. That's why they were holding his feet to the fire.
Well, we have to finalize the testimony. So I do believe we may be able to waive our appearance in that, where Mr. Burgess might not actually physically have to come back, but there was a rider attached to the subpoena that requested certain documents and videos and evidence that Mr. Burgess had talked about in his interviews prior to the grand jury subpoena, and part of what he was supposed to bring. So they just need to bring that to completion. And that's the purpose for us possibly having to testify further.
Makes sense. So mark your calendar and come on back on the program and let us know what happens next. Ariel Mitchell, I always love having you on.
And Newsnation just feeding right into it. Here's the thing. You can't tell me that Newsnation actually believed these lying mother. There is no way that they believed them. No way. I'm sorry. Everything that was going down during that time, I was calling it out in real time. And mind you, everybody else was getting their rocks off and was playing in their booty holes because they were so excited. Like, oh yeah, Diddy's going down. They're going to show these tapes. And then I'm all like, y'all believe this motherfucker? Like, he can't even speak. What are y'all talking about? He can't even talk. And y'all believe in him? And then Ariel just looking for a moment. Hold on. Here we go. I think this is because I was trying to find the original interview. Thank you, Citizen, for becoming a why did I say plain and they I didn't mean to go in like that, y'all. Sorry. But Citizen Morgan, thank you for becoming a member. Okay, let me pull this up. I think this is the original video. So this tells me Newsnation is standing on business. They're not ashamed of anything they've done. Wow. Wow. They are not ashamed. Okay.
Of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that.
Yes,
and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let me
be,
rephrase
right,
it.
based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appeared to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8.
Mind you, Ariel went on record saying that she never seen the tapes. And then remember, Courtney, I think it was on Sean Atwood channel where he said he only watched like 2 seconds because he's not gay, so he didn't want to watch 2 men getting it on or something like that. I remember he said something like that. So how does he know that these tapes are even legit?
Were victimized,
Yeah,
meaning this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
Exactly.
And of those 8, how many seemed to be potentially minors?
2 to 3, possibly 3.
Thanks for watching. Go to join and
2 to 3, possibly 3. Oh my God. You Newsnation, y'all better settle like everybody else doing with Trump, because y'all in for a world of hurt. I'm telling you. I am telling you, they are not going to play with y'all, because this is obviously a lie. Now rewatching it again, it's all like, yeah, we knew this shit was a lie. Like, I'm not even convinced that this has any truth to it. I mean, let me ask you guys, do you guys think that Courtney Burgess and Ariel Mitchell, do you think they were telling the truth? Now, we can all say they were looking for a come up. Now, I'll let y'all be the judge and jury to that. But as far as lying, I knew they was lying. When you know something, you know something. But the way they talking around about and Courtney Burgess don't sound confident. You ain't even seen the video or whatever it is. Like, you don't know anything. And mind you, the reason why Ariel didn't want to see it, because she didn't want to be held in contempt. Like, she basically, her thing was like, oh, I'm just letting him say it, but I'm not going to say it myself. Was that TD Jerkoff or his twin? I call him TD Fakes. That's who that was. It was TD Fakes. And again, they need to get White Jamal. He needs to go down. And then also Albie Shore. Because now they're not even putting out Albie Shore book. Because they said that he be lying and he full of shit. And all his claims that he had in the book, he couldn't even prove. So they're not releasing his book anymore. So that's what Albie Shore gets. He's another fake and a fraud. Like, I'm glad they're getting all these fakes and frauds. Like, the thing is that the whole Diddy thing, the Diddy trial, it didn't need nothing salacious. It was already salacious enough. How many people he abused? You know, he was assaulting and doing everything else. Like, it didn't need no more to it. It just it was what it was. You know? It didn't need nothing extra to it. And the fact that all these people were adding extra to it and it didn't need anything extra. The real story was salacious enough. And now we're in a situation where people think that Diddy is innocent. And I'm all like, innocent? Innocent? I wouldn't say innocent, but, you know, I would say, you know, if we're going to say Rico, no, but yeah, I'm not over here saying free Diddy. Whatever happened to Diddy happens to Diddy. I don't care. Do you think Tisa should be worried about being sued? That's a very good question. I think that first it's going to start with these lawsuits, and then if they get bored, they'll probably move on to content creators. But I think they're just going to be fighting these lawsuits. You got to remember, there's so many of these lawsuits that's going to tie them up, you know, because again, I don't think they're going to get any money from these people, at least not from Courtney Burgess and Ariel, but Newsnation probably, but all these other people, they probably won't get any money or enough money to recruit everything that he has lost trying to fight all these legal battles and stuff like that. So I think for now, everybody, because also too, I think about this, like, are we still talking about Diddy? We're not really talking about Diddy that much. You know, now that the trial is over, we're not talking about it. Now, we will talk about it, you know, when they go to, the sentencing. We will talk about it again. But for right now, we're not really talking about it. It's kind of like, it is what it is. We can't, there's no more that we can really say until the sentencing date. Like, we kind of don't care. The real story is how he robbed the whole Bad Boy roster. That's the real story right there. That's what it should have been. The 1999 shooting, that should have been investigated. What else, y'all? Biggie murder, Tupac murder. That's what we need to, you know, really investigate. Hey. I honor D from, oh yes, rest in peace to Danielle Spencer, who played D in What's Happening. She did pass away today. I didn't know that she was suffering with cancer, but I found out, like, you know, through reading up that she was battling cancer, and unfortunately she lost her battle with cancer. So definitely prayers up to Danielle Spencer, aka D. You know, my parents, they grew up watching that show, and then now that it's came out on DVD, that one, What's Happening, doesn't really show up on TV. Does that show up on TV at all? That one, yeah, that one doesn't really come on TV. I've seen it a few times, but it's not like Good Times or The Jeffersons. Yeah, it's not one of those. But yeah, rest in peace to Danielle Spencer. All right, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get the hell up out of here. I appreciate you guys. Hello, everybody coming in. I appreciate y'all for being here, but we out. Deuces, everybody. Have a good night.